But there are some zones of caution one has to exercise. Principal to principal agreement should be drawn up very, very carefully with the help of a legal expert. And there has to be mutual consent on each of the clauses and terms drawn up. Similarly, the transfer price has to be negotiated very carefully to remain viable financially. In many cases, when you negotiate the cost of goods sold, then the transfer price, when the licensor retains the margin, you will end up having a gross margin before marketing, pre-marketing, with less than 20%. Then definitely, as a new product or a new molecule, it is not viable financially to market. So you have to negotiate very carefully and see to it with a constant review periodically, maybe 3 months or 6 months, to see that even before the launch, there is a long-term perspective of viability financially on the transfer price. Then there is a tacit understanding between licensor and licensee to maintain a price parity in line with market forces. Here, it's not necessary that you cannot sell at a higher price, either party. But definitely there is an understanding the other party will not sell at a lower price than the other person. But if you want to sell at a higher price, suppose licensee wants to, he has the capabilities to sell at a higher price, with the consent, prior consent and information of the licensor, you can sell at a higher price. There are instances like that. Now, what is the value enhancement which we are talking about? Though it's not a new paradigm I mentioned, but there is certainly a value enhancement to the co-marketing arrangement in these companies. The first is both the companies exploit commercial potential as partners. Together, they get the benefit. They can pose a formidable threat to competitors with better coverage and reach and faster acceptance. They also reach the critical mass quickly. This also expands the market size with the concept selling by either company. Now, in the case of NCE, NDDS or special formulations, the innovator gains the faster and passes on the benefit to the licensee. In some cases, if the innovator, it could be a multinational or it could be an Indian company, there are instances where they go for a co-marketing because they can gain faster and pass the benefit, and together they can create the critical mass within a year or two. This is also a golden opportunity for the licensee to access new product technology without investment and any gestation period, which I mentioned earlier. If we have to, like Astra-Ideal, for example, I'll tell you, we have co-marketing arrangement of amoxiclav, then also midazolam injection with ranbaxy. Now, amoxiclav, we don't have the production facility. We cannot invest now and create a facility for that. Or any of those beta-lactam antibiotics or cephalosporins we cannot produce. It makes sense, marketing sense and financial sense, to go to a company which has a facility and then negotiate for the prices and come to the terms and then go for co-marketing. And the technology on midazolam, bulrug, or the forward integration in the injections, or you want to reduce the gestation period. I don't want to go to DCGI because midazolam is still less than 4-year-old for approval. You have to go again do clinical trial or bioequivalence comparison you have to do. To save on that, 8 months or 1 year gestation period, straight away you decide on the brand name, get it produced by X company and market it. Again, that's the saving. You access technology, product, and then you reduce time in the marketing lead time. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I've taken the liberty of including a few slides on co-promotion. Now, co-promotion is, I don't think, to the best of my knowledge, in India, none of the companies practice co-promotion. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Two companies marketing same molecule or formulation under the same brand name, whereas that was two different brand names. But here, the same molecule or the same formulation could be special formulation, could be NDDS, but under the same brand name. If you recollect the history of the Zantac, ranitidine, how they launched in USA with the help of Roche, am I right? At that time, Glaxo wanted to beat Glaxo, surpass Tagamet, cimetidine of SKF. As a revolutionary molecule, second generation, They wanted to have a partner who had a larger field force, better medical acceptance and image, company image. So they did a co-promotion with Roche, and they could reach more than triple the number of doctors and established within 1 year and surpassed by second year the sales turnover of Tagamet, of SKF. That is one instance. There could be other instances which I don't remember now. But in India, this has not been practiced yet. Now, this is akin to the Indian arranged marriage in a lighter vein I'm putting it. The short honeymoon period. There may not be even a honeymoon period. One has to be effective right from day one, right? And full of compromises. Ladies, pardon me, also compromising positions. Who is on top, who is at the bottom? Nobody knows. Quite often, you're at the wrong end of the stick. There has to be a win-win situation. Otherwise, co-promotion will not work. It has to be a win-win for both. Next one, please. The innovator develops, manufactures, and distributes the molecule or formulations for both the companies. That means the research molecule or NDDS of the innovator, he retains the development, production, distribution, control. Only the brand commonly will be marketed by both of them. So the marketing field staff of both the companies will market the same brand on common platform of Medico marketing understanding. They have to come together like the husband and wife were not met, they were strangers. Suddenly they are thrown together. They have to come to a perfect understanding as quickly as possible. A similar situation, they have to work it out completely on a Medico marketing platform, how this brand together, same brand by both the companies, by marketing and field staff will be marketed. This facilitates wider doctor coverage, like I mentioned the example of Zantac of Glaxo, deeper penetration, there's a medical acceptance and achieve the critical mass faster than either of them do it alone. Next one, please. But this requires a constant review and monitoring of prescription response and frequency by both the companies as a part of marketing audit process. You have to set up between the two companies a very carefully planned, meticulously planned marketing audit process to find out what is the marketing effort, promotional effort of each company and what is the prescription response coming from the doctors by both the field force. It's very tricky. That's why I said nobody perhaps has attempted it. Devise a method for equitable credit for promotional efforts and prescription generation. This again is part of the audit process. You have to devise a method by which you will give a credit equitably to both the companies. It is possible that X company will have 500 field force. The Y company will have 800 field force. But if it is a specific therapeutic segment, it is determined by number of doctors covered, specialists covered, and not related to the number of PSRs the company has. It is specific to the therapy segment or strategic business unit, whatever you call it. Accordingly, you have to give credit to the promotional efforts and response in terms of prescription generation. So, co-promotion entails meticulous planning, control, calls for delicate balancing act, and a perfect understanding between both the companies. Now, between the two, one would tend to go for co-marketing because it is less complex. There is immediate benefit or gain to both the companies, particularly to the licensee. The licensee has access to technology, product, and then he can market faster. That is bypassing regulatory as well as development processes. But co-promotion, if can be handled very, very carefully, I think it is going to be a future thing, particularly when MNCs, if they don't have a large presence here, or MNCs don't have any presence at all here, they want to enter as a strategy a co-promotion for at least 2 or 3 years in the initial phase to create that kind of critical mass and then achieve the commercial viability in a very big market like India with a billion population. I think that's futuristic thing. I think many models were discussed. Co-marketing is already there. Co-promotion could be a futuristic model which one can think of. I think I'll leave that thought with you and conclude. And thank you very much.
Yeah. Thanks, Mr. Vittal Rao, for giving a fantastic presentation. I could request Mr. Narasimhan to briefly review the lecture, please.
Dignitaries on the dais, colleagues, and friends from the world of marketing, and Mr. Vittal Rao. A good lecture coming from somebody obviously well experienced in co-marketing and obviously looking at co-promotion opportunities. I've always thought, at the end of today's lecture, marketing in India at least seems to be more a function of noise rather than strategy. And that's in part been supported by the large number of arrangements that we see within companies. I remember a decade or two ago, co-marketing was a very serious issue. It involved a lot of sit down and, like Mr. Vittal Rao said, the arrangements that you needed to go through. Your parents had to have arrangements, they had to have married elsewhere so that you could consummate it here. But over the years, as we see it, we've been less and less controlled by the limitations abroad. When we look at co-marketing, I can't see of more exciting examples than what's happening in the world of Indian companies. The first time somebody synthesized omeprazole and gave it to over 16 companies and said, go market it. Right? Obviously opening up the entire market to omeprazole, he realized that the value of his investment would be better realized if more people got into the bandwagon. And so sometimes I ask myself, is it, the body or the human being is supposed to be the gene's way of reproducing itself? Is it a brilliant, bulk strategy to have as many players in the market as possible? And I think, like I said, once again, the Indian companies do a phenomenal job of co-marketing, though not under the label of co-marketing. What we find over the years is that a large number of companies therefore bet on the same horse. For some people the returns are good, for some people the returns are not so good. And therein to me lies an issue that we all need to address. While we can go up and tie the knot, as you say, and Mr. Rao seemed to skip over the consummation of the marriage, I think a lot more needs to be thought about how do we make co-marketing work. You don't have too many arrangements in India today where each partner can, if you were to ask each one of them, hey, listen, is it working for you? You probably would say, well, we are in it. It's a little difficult to get out, but it didn't quite work the way we wanted to. If you look at market shares between companies co-marketing, if there are two companies, you will find them grossly distorted in favor of one. And that, to my mind, is probably because the intentions were there, but both had different dreams. As a Chinese proverb that I managed to note down, nothing is worse in an alliance than to have two partners in the same bed with different dreams. And that seems to be happening, or that has a possibility of happening if we do not get into this arrangement that we want to, with a set of objectives that are common to both of us. Right? So one doesn't see too many win-win situations, right? Like in the words of Guha, there are companies with a 3 crore product, they feel they've won. There are companies that have come out with 20 crores. But one doesn't see the benefits of co-marketing, right, in terms of moving both partners forward, really realized in the way they should be. It was Stephen Covey who said, right, we move from dependence to independence to interdependence. And I don't think there is any place where it is better exemplified than in the pharmaceutical business. Right, if you trace what Mr. Tapandre said from the 70s to the 90s, you realized we have at last come to a situation in life where if we want to survive, MNCs, Indian companies, whatever labels we put, there has got to be a lot of interdependence. And I think it's a fitting finale to this excellent Medico marketing meet that we should close on a note of interdependence, that we draw strength from each other. So once again, thank you for a wonderful lecture.
Thanks, Mr. Narasimhan. May I request Mr. Narasimhan give the momentum to Mr. Vittal Rao. And Mr. Vittal Rao to Mr. Narasimhan. May I request Mr. S.K. Singh to come to give the memento to Dr. Mrunal Lasar, CEO Market Orientation. Mr. S.K. Singh, please. Well, before I propose a vote of thanks, it has been a wonderful experience. And I thank for all the speakers and session chairmen who have cordially accepted my invitation. The title of the Congress, which I thought way back in 2 months, is Emerging Role of Healthcare Marketing, is basically to bring forth into the limelight the sweeping changes that has been happening in the Indian pharmaceutical industry. And the product patent era that comes in the year 2005, lot of blockbuster molecules are going off patent. Intense competition, too many brands, and too many players in the same market will pose a serious threat to the pharmaceutical industry, and this is where the survival of the fittest will come into the picture. Indian pharmaceutical industry has got many opportunities, but it has got also immense threats. And if it intends to survive, it has to keep its house in order. And we need to, I must tell through my media, Pharma Business and Technology, that Drug Price Control Authority or from the bureaucracy, they are facing a lot of problems that needs to be settled. And pharmaceutical industry, if it needs to grow, there needs to be cooperation from all segments, not only from the bureaucracy, but from the Ministry of Chemical and Fertilizer, from the pharma industry. And I'm sure all you must have enjoyed it. And let me announce here that Pharma Business and Technology has created an award function for this particular occasion in the Medico marketing meet, basically to facilitate, to confer the persons who have remarkably done for the growth of the pharmaceutical industry. In the Pharma Business and Technology are privileged to confer 4 awards in the category of 2 Lifetime Achievement Award, 1 for the pharma industry, another from the ancillary sector, and one for the Best Vendor GMB Primary Packaging Award. And Pharma Business and Technology is soon going to launch its pharmaceutical channel. And this channel will be displayed on the television, and very shortly we are opening up. I'm sure all will cooperate with me, because this is where I will bring into focus the bureaucracy, the Ministry of Chemical Fertilizers, and the doctors and the pharmaceutical industry itself, wherein I will bring forth the issues that has been facing, be it pricing, be it regulatory affairs, be it the patents, or be it various other issues that will be bringing into face. Now, before we confer the award of Pharma Business and Technology, let's go one small documentary now. Pharma industry. And to know this award, let's go into this thing. Singh was born in a family of agriculturists in Bihar. During his high school days, India's struggle for independence had intensified, and he was instinctively drawn into this historic movement. Sri Singh drew his inspiration from his uncle, a freedom fighter, and discarded foreign textiles and chose khadi, a symbol of Swadeshi spirit, even at a tender age of 13 years. Mr. Singh's overwhelming patriotism urged him to abandon academic pursuits for a while, as he took an active flank in the year 1942 Quit India movement. He demonstrated exceptional abilities in fighting against the British rule. A day in the life of Mr. Samprada Singh starts with a morning prayer. After that, he wakes up and attends many telephonic calls before joining to the office. The meteoric rise of Alchem Laboratories Limited to a present turnover of 450 crore with an aggressive field force of over 1,500 and among the most admired pharma companies in the top 10 list is the outcome of an untiring, dedicated and committed endeavor by its principal founder, imbibing the principles of sound corporate governance and successful implementation of strategic business planning. The stupendous achievements of Alchem since its modest beginning in the year 1973, at a time when the multinational companies were ruling the host, is solely attributed to its founder, chairman and managing director, Mr. Samprada Singh. We at Pharma Business and Technology are going to confer the Lifetime Achievement Award to Mr. Samprada Singh. And today we are featuring Alchem as a company which identifies itself as a company with a global outlook and focuses its corporate growth with an R&D based future. Undoubtedly, Samprada Singh, the navigator of the Alkem boat, has set new benchmark in corporate governance and exhibited tremendous ability in HRD management. While his vision of placing his company in the global league is yet to be achieved, we must accredit full marks to him for his intrinsic and strategic decision-making abilities, along with creating an enviable name to be reckoned with in a most complex business in the crowded branded generic market. As a visionary, he has taken it upon himself to compete with giant multinationals, and in a bold move, he has begun investing heavily in research and development in preparation for a more challenging future. One notable change that Singh has brought about at Alkem is transforming the whole culture from a family-run conglomerate to a professional managed firm. The senior management team consists of people who have put in long innings at the Alkem and have been richly rewarded. Importantly, rather than going shopping for highly paid talent from outside, Mr. Singh has preferred homegrown professionals. Outlining the corporate policies of Alkem to place Alkem in the global map, Mr. Singh is quite optimistic and says that he is determined to take Alkem to the global map. As he says,
Alkem success is because of we have got a strong organization having a friendly, joint friendly type of organization which is everybody equal. And our people are dedicated for the growth of the company. We believe in empowering our people to the maximum. And there is no difference between lower and upper strata. I being the engineering director of the company, I treat even those who are on the lower strata, the fourth grade, as our family member. I pride them, I encourage them. Our growth is because of we have got a very strong marketing organization, having 1,500 field force backing, tirelessly in the field, and increasing the sales and adding to the growth of the company, and because of that we have grown. We have got the best and largest manufacturing capacity in the country. We have started two state-of-the-art pharmaceutical manufacturing unit at Daman. I can boast that they will be one of the best in the country, and they will produce the best quality in the country. We believe in research and development, and we have a greatest plan to go in for, we have got an ambitious plan to go in for research and development, and we are going to invest 25 crores rupees for that. We believe in bringing new molecules, and we have been successful bringing new molecules first time in the country, and that has helped us to bring it. We are very fast in introducing new molecules, and we have been very successful. These are because reasons why Alkem has grown so fast.
the remarkable growth of Alkem to a present position of the most admired pharma company is solely attributed to Mr. Samprada Singh's dynamic leadership. The senior management team who has been with Alkem has been untiringly working for the development of the company. The company's corporate management team has been constantly in touch with Mr. Samprada Singh's advice and who has been taking the instant decisions. The senior management team consults with him and takes instant decisions. To know more about Mr. Samprada Singh, let's go into the detail and find out the remarks from these corporate and important personalities.
Mr. Samprada Singh is a great visionary. Basically, his vision only has propelled this company to this height. In fact, he always emphasizes on the culture and the kind of family atmosphere he has given to all of us. That is one of the reasons why this company has come up to this level. And more so, basically, he has been always a great inspiration for all of us in achieving great heights, newer heights, and he's very focused on people. He has been emphasizing on this for years together, since I have seen him for the last 15 years, wherein I have seen him focusing on people. and he has given liberty to people to work freely in an atmosphere where people can at least express their own views and can use their own mind. One of the most fascinating things about our managing director, Mr. Sampradar Singh, is the enormous levels of energy which he possesses. In fact, even at the age of 73, many of us feel that he has more energy than many of the young people around him. And that is what drives his company towards achieving greater heights. The second major factor which supports the company is his ability to take risks. In fact, we have learned to take calculated risks and made a great success in the pharmaceutical industry, and that is why I consider as among the top league of the pharma players. In addition to this, our managing director has taught us the ability to build trust and to build relationships with the people and with everyone who has come in touch with this company. In fact, this message of faith has touched the lives of so many people that many people within and outside the organization have greatly benefited by the charm of Mr. Sampradar Singh. To list the most important attribute of our chairman and managing director, I would like to list the following. Firstly, his humbleness. His down-to-earth nature has made him dear to practically every member of the Alkem family. Secondly, his risk-taking ability. I have never come out from his cabin without a risk, even for the most...
Limited is one of the most distinguished and respected entrepreneurs of the Indian pharmaceutical industry. His dream to lift Alkem Laboratories to its present formidable presence in the pharmaceutical industry, ranking 6th.
Turnover of 450 crore with an aggressive field force of over 1,500 and among us the most admired pharma companies in the top 10 list is the outcome of an untiring, dedicated and committed endeavor by its founder, imbibing the principles of sound corporate governance and successful implementation of strategic business planning. The stupendous achievement of Alkem since its beginning in the year 1973, at a time when the multinational companies were ruling the roost, is solely attributed to the founder, chairman, managing director, Mr. Sampradar Singh. Today, Alkem as a company identifies itself as a company with a global outlook and focuses its corporate growth with an R&D-based future. Undoubtedly, Sampradar Singh, the navigator of Alkem board, has set new benchmarks in corporate governance and exhibited tremendous ability in HRD management. While his vision of his company in the global league is yet to be achieved, we must accredit full marks to him for his intrinsic and strategic decision-making abilities, along with creating an enviable name in the record with the most complex of crowded vendor market. As a visionary, he has taken it upon himself to compete with giant multinationals, and in a bold move, he has begun investing heavily in research and development in preparation for a more challenging future. One notable change that Singh has brought about at Alkem is transforming the whole culture from a family-run conglomerate to a professionally managed firm. The senior management team consists of people who have put in long innings at our company and have been richly rewarded. Importantly, rather than going shopping for abroad, he has prepared homegrown professionals, and undoubtedly he has borne him with rich fruits. Pharma business and technology are privileged to confer the Lifetime Achievement Award to Mr. Sampradar Singh.
Mr. Verma, distinguished members of the pharmaceutical industry, I stand on this podium with a sense of deep humility and great pride, and would like to express my sincere gratitude to the panel who have considered me fit enough to receive the Pharma Business and Technology Lifetime Achievement Award. My predecessors
of this award, late Dr. Pravinder Singh of Ranbaxy Laboratories, Dr. Anji Reddy and Mr. Deshbandhu Gupta perhaps have contributed far greater than me to the growth of the Indian pharmaceutical industries. And in fact, Dr. Pravinder Singh and Dr. Anji Reddy could be considered as the main architects of the Indian thrust in the field of research and development. Normally, lifetime achievement awards are made in the industries, film industries in the USA and India, and the winners have high public image and visibility. I have tried to maintain a low profile, but perhaps ORG and IMS did not agree, and that could be the reason why I am standing there. From my childhood, I have been inspired by Swami Vivekananda, and I have followed his precept, which he has helped me over since I started my company. To succeed, you must have tremendous perseverance, tremendous will. I will drink the ocean, say the preserving soul. That my will mountains will crumble up. That my will mountains will crumble up. Have that sort of energy, that sort of will, work hard, and you will reach the goal. I have also followed certain principles which I subsequently found in management books. As you all know, I am not an MBA from any reputed institute, but the following guided my life. The successful people don't necessarily have the best of everything. They just make the best of everything. Don't be afraid to take a big step if one is indicated. You cannot cross a gulf in 2 small jumps. The business of leaders or heroes is tricky. Leadership is not something that is done to the people like fixing your teeth. Leadership is unlocking people's potential to become better. I also believe in the total accessibility to me of my people working in Alchem. A leader should be a master networker. Good networking gives you a valuable circle of people from whom you can give and receive support and information. I imagine myself on the hub of wheel surrounded by a spoke of contacts. I also believe that it does not matter if you try and try and try again, then fail. But it does matter if you try and fail to try again. I would recommend to my peers the rules of Jack Welch of General Electric, the most successful chief executive in the modern world. Face reality as it is, not as it was or as you wish it to be. Be candid with everyone. Don't lead. Control your own destiny or someone else will. Taking a deep peep in the future of the Indian pharmaceutical industry, I think the wheel of this industry has completed one revolution. And is it at the threshold of the second revolution? In the beginning of the first revolution, the multinational held his way, and towards the end, Indian companies have surpassed them. In fact, the contribution of the Indian companies of the first 10 companies is more than multinationals. But in the second revolution, if I put it to commence in the year 2005, multinational will again be a force to reckon with, unless great thrust and investment on research and development are made by the Indian companies. The rules of WTO and growth in communication technology points towards globalization of pharmaceutical business rather than separate, isolated national markets. if we add on this the emerging scenario of the mergers and acquisition that are becoming rampant, Indian companies for survival will have to become more than self-sufficient in research and development to invent new molecules, create a situation which would facilitate cross-licensing and outsourcing. Another area where Indian companies have to make rapid progress is in biotechnology and genetic engineering. The healthcare across the world is moving from a predominantly curative one to preventive one. The main driving force behind this challenge would be biotechnology and genetic engineering. In 1965, Gordon Murray predicted that the computing power of the silicon chips would be doubled every 18 to 24 months. This law is driving the rapid growth and economic value of the computer industry. The same law will apply to genomics. Genomic technology will continue to double in capacity and volume every 12 to 24 months. It is therefore essential that Indian companies should work towards assuming a degree of leadership in life sciences, lest we are once again left behind. May I thank the organizers of this function once again for honoring me for whatever little contribution I could make towards Indian pharmaceutical industry, but personally I will be only satisfied if Indian pharmaceutical industries very quickly moves in the direction I have outlined in my brief talk. Thank you.
Mr. Singh for coming today. Now the second category of award, Lifetime Achievement Award in the Indian ancillary sector goes to Mr. Ajit Singh and Mr. Gaddis Singh of Associated Capsules Group. I request Mr. Ajit Singh and Mr. Gaddis Singh to please come on the dais. I request Mr. Ravinder Pal also to come here. Mr. Ajit Singh, Chairman, and Mr. Gaddis Singh, Managing Director of Associated Capsules Group, have been closely associated with the Indian pharmaceutical industry, and both have set new benchmarks in the Indian pharmaceutical ancillary sector, which has kept India at the forefront of world capsule technology and created a high reputation for sophisticated pharmaceutical machinery built in India. Mr. Ajit Singh was educated at Whitfield School and Cambridge University in England and did his postgraduate studies at the Harvard Business School, USA. Mr. Gaddis Singh studied in a number of schools in India and in Europe before joining the University of London and Mechanical Engineering and subsequently the program at the Harvard Business School. In the mid-60s, they began to expand and consolidate the Associated Capsules Group. Backed by a dedicated team, they have rapidly built up their pharmaceutical ancillary and machinery business to a position of worldwide repute. Currently employing over 2,000 people, their factories have been described by more than one overseas visitor as showplace of nation and collectively constitute Asia's largest capsule and related machinery manufacturing enterprise. With the visionary leadership of Mr. Ajit Singh and the technical and administrative leadership of Mr. Gaddis Singh, the group has rapidly grown and now has the second largest capacity for manufacturing gelatin capsules in the world. The group also has several engineering factories and produces the largest range of capsule filling machines in the world along with other sophisticated machineries required by the pharmaceutical industry. They have attracted some of the best pharma suppliers names such as IWK, GLAD, FETI, GADFOS, BAW and others to work with them and for India. The capsule group has earned international acknowledgement and award for pioneering development of technology for innovative management techniques and for employees and community welfare. The President of India and the Maharashtra government have conferred award on them for outstanding help to the physically handicapped. The UNIDO have given them an award for research and training in the field of pharmaceutical industry. Pharma business and technology are privileged to jointly confer the Lifetime Achievement Award on Mr. Ajit Singh and Mr. Jasjit Singh of Associated Capsule Group. May I request Mr. Devinder Pal to speak few words about Mr. Ajit Singh, later on to be followed by Mr. Ajit Singh.
Well, Ajit has told me to make it very quick, so I will make it very quick, but I don't know how to sum up. I have known Ajit for good 30 plus years now. And first time I met him, and in fact every time I met him, I'm always discovering a new side of him. First time when I met him, I thought, hey, this is a guy happy-go-lucky. He was born with a silver spoon in his mouth, and he was having great time, and we always got a feeling that, he was really a playboy and happy-go-lucky, and maybe he was playboy also, but that's all part of the game. But the more I have seen of him, the more I have interacted with him, and I have had more than one occasion, and some of them particularly those which, at the time of the Pharmaceutical Congress, when we did that, it was incredible to see incredible energy Ajit has to look into every little thing himself. And the ability that he has to work hard is absolutely incredible. I think with his kind of capabilities and abilities, he couldn't have wished for a better brother as a symbiotic relationship. It was not interdependence of the thought which was mentioned in the marketing or the co-promotion or whatever it was. It was really a symbiotic relationship. This 1 + 1 was really, if I could say, 111 perhaps, but not even 11. And with Jasjit, it is a fantastic relationship, and Jasjit himself unfortunately he's not here. I wish he was here, and I'm sure Ajit will convey to him what my feelings are, because I have also had the pleasure to know him. But Ajit has really achieved, he's really proved that if you do not care who gets the credit, there is no limit to what is possible. Ajit, my congratulations to you. Thank you.
May I request Mr. Ajit Singh to speak few words?
Well, I do apologize for my sometimes younger brother, Jasjit, not being here with us this evening. You see, when Jasjit and I decided to be partners and work together to set up our businesses, we also made the decision that Jasjit would do most of the work, and I would go around telling everyone what a good job he's doing. I've always felt that a Lifetime Achievement Award is something you are given at the end of your useful life. On the other hand, we saw this morning how our speaker took us through the Genome Project, and instead of coming in 2020, it had already arrived in June 2000. And I remember the words of a very prominent and important American doctor, a friend of mine, who said, Ajit, and this is recently, he said, Ajit, if you can remain alive and healthy for 5 years more, we will keep you alive indefinitely. That's how modern science, medical science, is moving. So I, with great trepidation, therefore, and highly prematurely, thank Rama and his team for conferring this award. And I'm sure, on behalf of Samprada as well, that I believe it's premature. We've got lots more to do, right, Samprada? I want to never forget, this is something I remember and thank God for every day, is the incredible team that work with Jasjeet and me. It's almost a team of 2,000 people in 10 different factories, one research and admin center. Most of them have been with us right from the very beginning. Many familiar faces. It is due to their hard work that I think stand humbly before you to take this award really on their behalf. And most of all, I think one should be thankful to those who cannot speak for themselves so well, but who are the real workers, as I hope I am as well, in the factories. They are the people who never leave you, they're with you for life, and who you have an obligation to also look after. In our companies, we set up a system many years ago of remembering everybody who's worked with the company and who, while working in the company, passed away, died of some natural cause or an accident. And it's a long photo gallery of photographs, because over 36 years, many people do pass away. And our head of personnel is here today. I thank you for being here. I think he'll agree that the first photograph in that long list of photographs actually begins with my father, who worked in the company himself. And it ends with my mother, who died a few months ago, actually just around the time of our Congress, Devinder. And she worked in quality control herself. And at her death ceremony, one of the workers, because we called all the workers who wanted to come, they're all remembering her contribution. So rather, her father was from Bihar, as you know, from the ICS. And they used to all call her Mummy. In those days, we had about 1,200 people only. And they said, and each one of them gave a memory of Mummy. And they said, one day, Mummy was trying to help fit a machine in the factory, and accidentally, somebody pressed the on button, and it damaged 2 of her fingers. It was bleeding. And Mummy immediately turned around and said, I hope the machine is all right. Such was the devotion and the passion of a woman for her work. And this is the way that I see most of the people who run our group working together with tremendous passion, tremendous togetherness. And I really think we should thank them all today. I want to end with a small poem that I just wrote a few minutes ago. I think it's very appropriate, and I'll end with that. It goes as follows. Award winners, be brief. It's not good to keep this audience, or to keep this august audience from their food. The sessions are long. It's now time to hurry. Otherwise, some will go home without the curry. Brahma is always generous. Therefore, I think he'll not let you leave without a drink. In the pharma industry, we all are the award winners. So let's get this over with. Go out and be sinners. Thank you.
The third important award, Pharma Business and Technology Dynamic Entrepreneur Award 2000, goes to Mr. Vikram Aima of CMT Okhwa Laboratories Private Limited. Mr. Vikram Aima, Chairman and Managing Director, Okhwa Laboratories Limited, has demonstrated exceptional abilities and commanding leadership qualities in the Indian pharmaceutical industry and has created a niche for itself in the branded generic market. His intuitive, perceptive, analytical and creative approach combined with astute and inspiring leadership is the envy of many. Mr. Aima is a science graduate with a diploma in management and having 2 decades of experience in pharmaceutical manufacturing and marketing. Beginning his career as a medical representative, Mr. Aima has exhibited tremendous organizational capabilities in marketing and manufacturing. A hardcore marketing professional, Mr. Aima has proved credentials to launch 2 companies in India and making them successful ventures before embarking on his own concern, Okhwa Laboratories Private Limited. along with his two professionals, Mr. Praveen Sethi and Mr. Sunil Chopra. Mr. Aima, having been associated with the industry for 2 decades, knows the challenges and business dynamics and has prepared a blueprint for the future. As he explains, we intend to be a leading national player by focusing our core competence in our aggressive marketing strategies, innovation in latest molecule launches coupled with dedicated service to the medical profession. In just 4 years of inception, the company has been able to achieve an annual turnover of rupees 250 million, which is exceptionally commendable in the fastly competitive pharmaceutical market under the dynamic leadership of Mr. Aima. Recently, OCA introduced a worldwide accepted acclaimed vascular calcium dovasilate under the brand name Dovasil, and in the very first year of its launch, Dovasil has crossed the figure of rupees 30 million. OCA has also entered the export market, and it has also started operating in the East African market and will very soon pour into the Middle East. OCA is coming in a big year with concept in drug delivery system. It is very soon going to introduce a number of products in the pellet form, in the nasal route therapy, and as a transdermal patches. This is in the process of setting up a FDA pelletization plant at Bangalore, and to cope up with the post-gate challenges, the company is planning to expand its activities as a contract research organization. OCA, with its dedicated and highly motivated professionals, is all geared to touch rupees 1 billion turnover mark by the year 2005. As Mr. Maima says, winning is about leadership, and the heart of leadership starts with ideas. Ideas that we have already implemented will bear fruits in the near future. We at Pharma Business and Technology are privileged to confer the Dynamic Entrepreneur Award on Mr. Vikram Aima. I request Mr. Pharmaleader to confer this award.
Excuse me.
I will request Mr. Aima to speak few words.
The Pharma Business and Mr. Brahma for conferring this award. Though I feel that I have not done anything. I was asking him that why you have selected me for this award, because this is something which I could not have imagined or expected. Thank you very much.
The fourth but not the least award is the Best Vendor GMP Award in the category of Pharma Primary Packaging goes to Mr. Joseph Karakat of Tube Glass Containers Limited. Mr. Joseph Karakat, Chairman and Managing Director, Tube Glass Containers Limited, has had an illustrious career in the pharma ancillary industry in the manufacturing of glass ampoules and tubular vials. Tube Glass Containers Limited, in a span of 3 decades, has established its credentials in the pharmaceutical industry as a quality manufacturer and supplier of glass ampoules and tubular vials. Tube Glass Containers started out as a proprietary concern in 1973, having leased out an ampoule manufacturing unit and opened up its own manufacturing unit in 1981 at Chembur, Mumbai. In the year 1985, the concern was made into a partnership firm and shifted operation of manufacturing ampoules and vials to Badlapur in 1987. In the year 2000, Tube Glass Containers became a limited company and also expanded the factory in line with international standards, procuring ISO 9002 certification. We at Pharma Business and Technology are privileged to confer the Best Vendor Award in the GMP Award in the category of Pharma Primary Packaging on Mr. Joseph Karakat. But unfortunately, Mr. Joseph Karakat has not come. That's why I request Mr. Bhatt to please come on the dais and accept on behalf of Mr. Joseph Karakat. I request Mr. Kapondre to confer the award to me.
नहीं बरोबर डोळे असं लावून घे ना लावून घे
I request Mr. Bhatt to speak few words.
Distinguished dignitaries here and member of the juries for the award, Best Vendor Awards for GMPs. I take an opportunity to congratulate on behalf of management for giving us this Best Vendor Awards. And I would like to share one thing with you. That journey is success is not journey, but success is not destination, but journey. we are on the same way. We are improving ourselves slowly, and we are trying our best to see that we could really achieve ourselves and could prove ourselves to be of this awards industry. Thank you.
And congratulations to Mr. Samprata Singh, to Mr. Ajit Singh and Mr. Jagdish Singh, and to Mr. Joseph Karagat and to Mr. Bikram Aiman. And I thank Mr. Tapan Ray, the chief guest of this evening, to have come to this function and have conferred this award. Ladies and gentlemen, I have waited you for long, but patience is the art of hoping. Now I propose a vote of thanks now, and let's go for cocktails and dinner. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.